All right. Thank you everyone for joining. I anticipate that we'll have a bunch more people rolling into the meeting as we get going, but we want to make sure we give Andrew and Victor plenty of time to get through this content because we've got some awesome stuff to learn from them today. So before we get going, I just want to encourage everyone on this webinar that if you are not already part of the Startup CPG email list in Slack, go to startupcpg.com and sign up there. You'll get the message. The first email you get will get a link to the Slack community. It's where a lot of the activity, a lot of the conversation in the community happens. This webinar is going to be recorded and posted to Startup CPG's YouTube channel within the next couple of days. And then I will also be sending out the presentation from today in the follow-up email that you get. So thank you for being here live. In order to make sure that we can manage all the questions and we see everyone's questions, please use the Q&A feature within Zoom. It's very helpful for us to be able to manage and make sure we're seeing and getting to all the questions. With that, I'm flipping over to, I think, to Victor, right, to get us going?
Yeah, I can get us started. So welcome, everyone. Really excited to be with you guys. Andrew and I have a big background in advertising, and we come from the health and wellness and all kinds of like different diverse spaces. But really, at the end of the day, we specialize in finding ways to really connect with the ideal buyers, right? And so throughout this, we're going to go through messaging and also how you set that up in your ads account, and then how you use GPT as well. So there's going to be some media stuff here. I know we might even do a poll to see, where you guys are and what will be the most valuable, because way that Andrew and I laid this out at the beginning is we thought, hey, let's walk everyone through the whole methodology behind marketing message and why it's actually more important than people really think. And then after that, we go into the technical side on how to set it up in Facebook ads, and then from there on any other platform that you may have. But the thing there is, like, we want to make sure that it resonates with you guys. So Peter, I think this would be a time that we might do an open chat or a poll to see. I guess the question would be, what is everybody's experience with Facebook ads? So have you guys been doing your own ads for a while? Are you working with an agency right now, or what's the level, so that Andrew and I know not to get too technical or actually to get too technical?
And I just opened up the chat so everyone can go ahead and drop just like one or two words on what you're doing.
Awesome,
so, Ash, yeah, we love that. Running ads in-house. Okay, so sweet.
Sam,
let's start ads.
You're in the right place. Let's do it. Erica, you're in the right place. We got this. And let's see.
I haven't run downs yet. Okay, sweet. So everybody, it seems like most people are intermediate, beginner, total beginner. Okay, that's great. So that's good, because most of this is geared going to be towards like intermediate to total beginner, so that we can make sure you guys kind of start out right. Or this is also good if you ever hire an agency, you can say like, hey, am I paying this agency like $2,000 a month to like do nothing, or am I actually paying them to like, do this process or correct process? So, Gita, Meta keeps blocking you. Oh no, what are you running? What are you trying to run ads to? That's my question. That's fun.
Okay, great. So feel free to keep going on that. We want to make this conversational, right? So conversational, interactive, and also incredibly helpful, where you guys can take action. So that being said, let's go into a little intro. Andrew, why don't you introduce yourself, and then we'll go into the next part, and we'll keep the conversation going.
Yeah, so I founded AdCrunch Digital. We specialize in CPG, specifically health, wellness, and beauty CPG brands. I've been doing this for 6 years in both Meta and Google. And I mean, I've like been doing this like probably like 10 to 12 hours a day for 6 years. So I love it. I give me a little multiplier. Give me like, I'd say like 8 years total hours. And yeah, it's not just, I love running ads, but I also just like growing like business. So we have a couple of bonuses in here, like an offers worksheet, a couple of like I think we had some landing pages in there that converted really well. You know, that we're getting literally millions of dollars a month and spend on them, stuff like that. And yeah, other than that, we take a very scientific approach to like running ads. We actually use the scientific method to figure out which ads work. So, yeah, we have a repeatable process to continue to make ads work too, which is great. And other than that, yeah, I love outside of ads. I like kind of like hiking, doing jujitsu. I really love jujitsu and hanging out with Victor. So those are
Hanging out with Victor and doing ads.
And doing ads, yeah.
Awesome.
There you go, Victor.
Yeah, so my background, been in digital, gosh, for over a decade now, and started out in the whole startup tech space, and then just got into a like direct response marketing, and was at a supplement brand, and really pushed that brand up to, you know, past 20 million, and then decided, hey, you know, Andrew and I collaborate on lots of projects together, so jumped in and co-founded AdCrunch with him, so that we can just grow brands and really nerd out. Same thing, I'm pretty much a nerd in this space, do a lot of reading, have a book recommendation for everyone. This is like a holy grail that I'll dig into here in a bit, called Breakthrough Advertising. Yeah, outside of this, I mean, I love rock climbing, and do music as well. And yeah, pretty much doing that, and then traveling around with you know, my fiance here and there, just to check things out in Europe. So, Mabel, the book is Breakthrough Advertising by Eugene Schwartz. Killer book, and I'm gonna give you like a sneak preview of what's all about in the next section. So Andrew, if you want to scroll down,
Yes.
Get started with the message.
So these are we've worked with some pretty big CPG brands. These are some examples. And then, yeah, so here's the uncomfortable truth. If you're not testing messaging, you're just never going to scale efficiently. Messaging is the way that we test angles. And angles are like what make people buy, right? And so, yeah, Victor can kind of go into like how we start to test messaging here. So.
Yeah, so given that, you know, a lot of people are new here, I think the biggest thing to understand first is like, the magic doesn't happen when you are inside Ads Manager, setting everything up. A technical thing can be set up by a lot of people. For the most part, you could even outsource that. But the genius behind it is knowing how to connect with your ideal customers. So at the end of the day, what I like to do with, you know, a lot of the brands we work with is we go through a deep deep onboarding process, where basically at a simple level, we nail down who are your ideal customer profiles, your ICPs, right? And then we really go deep and figure out what their pain points are, what they worry about, what they care about. And we use ChatGPT now. I mean, I used to have to go through, you know, I think 100 to 500 Amazon reviews, scrolling through Reddit and compiling everything that people say on a particular brand or a particular problem or product, start finding patterns myself. But now we're using, you know, AI to streamline a lot of that. But all that to say that there are different methods, and I'll break that down for you guys if you want. In short, you need to know who your customers are, what their pain points are, and then from there, you need to figure out why your product is the right solution for them. You basically are the bridge. That's what ads are. And in Breakthrough Advertising, Eugene Schwartz talks about you cannot create mass desire.
Yeah.
I mean, no advertiser has enough money, power, or time to do that. Because if you think about it, mass desire is shaped by culture, by time, technological advancements, right? And for an advertiser to say, I'm going to shift everybody's mind to change a culture this way, it's too much money. So the key to that is actually, what are the mass desires in the market now? And how do you basically shift that mass desire to kind of look at your product, your service as the solution? For example, a mass desire is obviously weight loss, right? And you can get weight loss by purchasing a workout program, supplement, prep food, whatever that might be. But the key is within that mass desire, there are underlying desires. That's where the magic really happens, because people want weight loss, but then you got to ask why. They might want weight loss to be more attractive, to feel more confident, or to actually be healthier, and live longer, longevity, right? So the more you can get granular with your ICP, the easier it is this part will be, because once you
Yeah.
know, then you start saying, okay, I know this who my customers are, and I know exactly what problems they're facing, and I know exactly what they're trying to use to solve that problem. So that being said, what you're looking at here is basically the warmth of where your prospects are. So if you look at the top part, right? Temperature, most aware. These are the people that are probably going to be the smallest in terms of like the population, but they're ready to buy. They just need you to give them a little push, versus the people who are unaware. This is talking to the masses, but they need more before they make a purchase with you.
Yeah.
And what we're trying to just tell you from this point, you have the slide to digest this, but the key here that Andrew and I like to do is we go for the hot people first. We go for most aware, product aware, solution aware.
Yeah, I was
Go
just gonna
ahead.
say, yeah, we usually stay exactly, but yeah, Victor's. We usually, this is really important. So the like what we how we write copy is like offer, promise, and problem solution. We just kind of stay right there, because once you get out of that, you're starting to educate the market, which you only need to do that once you're spending 10, 15, $20,000 a day. That's when you get into like story leads. So we're gonna stay in this little area right here, and then Victor's gonna kind of get into the unique mechanism. But a brief overview is you basically are filtering people out with words in your ads, like offer, right? If you have an ad that says 20% off, that person's going to be ready to buy right now, right? If you have a like a problem solution ad, if you say like, hey, like struggling with losing weight, right? Okay, that's a different ad than like, well, how is this person struggling with losing weight? How are they, how are they trying to lose weight? Then like, are you, does your ad say struggling with, losing weight on a keto diet, right? That's way more precise. That's going to be a way more precise filter for that person and relevant to a different group of people. And so we use those in this, and we use those kinds of things. That we use words to filter people, and filter relevant audiences within our ads. So, and then yeah, Victor, sorry, you keep explaining.
Yeah, no, thanks
All
for
that. Yeah.
jumping in there, Andrew. So from there, basically, you want to look again at the mass desire, and then you figure out all the pain points. So
Yeah.
now, as you know your people and all their pain points, you need to know your product on the other side of that. What are all the features and stuff that can handle their pain points? And here's the crazy thing. The ads that win are not the ones that hit every single pain point. It's actually hitting the one that hurts the most. So if they have 5 pain points, the whole point of this testing is see which one hurts the most for them to take action, right? And from there you will test into that. By the way, it'll make more sense to you on a technical level here in a bit, but on a high level, just want you to understand that messaging is everything. And David Ogilvy, one of the forefathers, if you will, of advertising, said 80 cents out of every marketing dollar is spent just on the headline, because once you get the headline, you get them hooked, and then your body copy, all the words that come after that are the reasons why they want to buy from you and why your product or your solution is the one that they need to accomplish their goal or to attain their desire.
And then we'll come back to this, but this is just very relevant from what Victor just said. So do you see how many ads we have here? This is about 40 ads. These are all just different headlines. And you can see the click-through rate is anywhere from 10% to 3%. And I'm going to just go as far back. Click-through rate is like the ad click rate. So people who clicked through the ad based on the number of impressions. And then we can see what that looks like in a conversion campaign. So same thing here. All we did was change the hook, right? And look, we get anywhere from a $36 per purchase at a 4.5x ROAS down to like a $59 purchase at a 2.2x ROAS. So that's literally the power. I mean, the entire ad is the same. We're just changing the hook. And there's many things we could change on the ad to do this, but this is kind of where I was saying, like, this is a scientific process. We just change one thing at a time to find the best angles to find the pain points that have the most pain or desire, as Victor was saying. So.
Yeah, and I want to answer a question real quick that
Mhm.
is a great question. Laura, thanks for asking that. What's a good click-through rate? So on average, 1 to 2% is pretty good. There are other things to take into account. You never want to just look at a single metric isolated. You use your metrics and your data to tell a story, right? A
But yeah,
click-through is one thing, but Andrew and I have launched, ads that spend what, I don't know, $10,000 a day that have a 0.2% click-through rate, but sells like crazy, right? So it's like you have to look
yeah.
at that information with other data points, but on average, 1 to 2%, and we can dive deeper into that later on at the end, or email as well. So
Exactly. And then this is just kind of continuing on this. It's like, where should I start? Definitely don't try and start story leads with story leads. So it's like,
yeah,
did you know? Or this is Casey. Casey's been trying to lose weight for 18 years and she finally went on like this weird keto diet and did it. So don't start with that. Just start with like, it's very simple. It's very like brand. It's just speaking as the brand to your audience. There are other ways like you could get into first person, all this other stuff, but we're just going to focus on like speaking as a brand to your audience. So,
yeah.
yeah.
And then I think it's just communal. I love the engagement happening in the
Mhm.
chat. So Mike, you said that, hey, you ran ads, but conversion's been bad, makes you feel like you're wasting money, so you're turning it off. A big thing here is everything we're doing, marketing has to be experimental and testing. So the initial investment that you put into ads is to learn, and you
Yeah.
gather to figure out what's gonna work. And eventually, so when you spend money, it's like it goes down in this dip. It's like an investment, but done right, which if you follow our process, you should be pretty okay. And then you're going to get out of that and you're like, whoa, I got these angles and I'm going to pump money into it because now it works. So I just want to answer that.
Yeah. Yeah. And this is a brand we worked on like six, not six, I'm sorry, like 2.5 years ago. But like you can see, Victor and I started working in January. Then we went to February. They were sitting at 2 million, 2 million. And then our ads started working and you could see it went to 4 million, 4 million. They actually started running out of product here, which is a great problem to have. And then once they got back in stock, but I just wanted to show you all that it's exponential. So you'll probably burn, we'd recommend a guide. I wouldn't recommend just doing this, yourself if you've never done it before. We have some great courses to recommend, stuff like that. But this does, once you solve your ads problem, I mean, this is something that could double your revenue overnight. And we've seen it, and it works. It's just figuring out the problem, right? So
Yeah. So
yeah.
I'm gonna kind of tie this up and wrap a bow into it. So now you know your market, your ideal customers, right? And you know your product. You're trying to find the bridge now, right? So that's where the
Mhm.
testing really is at a high level, right on paper, right? Okay. Let's say that you sell hair loss supplements, right? So 5 pain points that I know this person has. And by the way, your ICP should be as granular as possible. You want to know, like, number one, I would say make sure that your ideal customer is a customer that already spends money on trying to solve this problem instead of just talking about it. Because if they're not gonna spend money, I wouldn't say that's an ideal customer. But okay, this person is already somebody that's looking for other solutions for hair loss. The reason why they want to have thicker hair is they want to have confidence. They want to attract a mate. They want to have a sign of youth, like they want to be forever young. So you find all these different things, and you're going to find the angle that works the best. On your side, you're going to see, okay, what does my product really do? How does it address that? It's like, oh, it can actually make hair grow thicker within 3 months of using it. And number two, unlike some of the alternatives out there, like minoxidil, it doesn't cause heart palpitation. That's a plus, right? So you have those things, and now it's a game of mixing and matching. So then now you're going into writing your headlines. By the way, if you don't have a big budget, you want to take the biggest swings on the headline, where your headlines should be handling, bigger, like it should be more different. Instead of saying, like, for example, uh, trying to grow thicker hair, and minoxidil is not working, you're missing this point, right? And then the next thing would be like, you're just testing, your hair's not growing even though you've been using minoxidil, right? Okay, well, they're kind of closely aligned. Figure out another swing that's going to make your money a little bit fuller. So in that sense, it would be hair. Oh, yeah, okay. Trying to grow your hair back by using hair growth shampoo, that's not working. So now you have this, oh, this person is trying to use growth hair shampoo. This person is trying to use minoxidil. So you're answering the question, which people would like my product more? And oh, all the minoxidil people. So now I'm going to really exploit that, iterate on the minoxidil angle. So hopefully,
yeah, and like exactly what Victor's saying, basically, like if you change that modifier, that's what we're saying, that's the mechanism, like, minoxidil versus like shampoo versus coconut oil, trying to grow your hair. If you use those each different like word in your headline is going to get you a different conversion rate because you're speaking to a different solution aware person. So, and then just real quick, sorry, because we skipped over this part, but like offer. So I just going to show you examples of the copy. Offer like hottest, if they're already in your funnel, like if they're already on your site, retargeting them with stuff like this. I mean, literally just a discount code, like just say 20% off into the 30th, use code X, something else that's fun. I'll be like, this code's not on our site, like it's just for you. And then like give them a code, like click see more to see the code, right? I'll have it below in the ad. And that increases your engagement on Facebook too. So it gives Facebook good signals. Just anything offers, it's going to be, y'all can literally take this copy and put it in your ad and like run this to like your retargeting audiences, either in a dynamic product ad or just with a video ad, but literally try this stuff out. This 20% off until the 30th, use code X, put an emoji before it, something that makes sense with your brand. But like all of this stuff, you can literally copy and paste this into your ad account like tomorrow. And if you already have a okay 30-day audience, you should start getting conversions. But this is how we'd recommend running like offer-based copy. And then Victor was talking about solution-based copy. So the important part here is like he was saying, it's not that this person is like trying to figure out ways to grow their hair. They already have found a way. They're using minoxidil or something else. So like this person already is running ads. They're not thinking about it. This person knows that caffeine can help them stay awake. They're not thinking about things they could do to stay awake longer. So they're not like, should I use, cocaine or coffee? I don't know, right? It's like they're already using coffee and you're just like, hey, here's like a better solution. Here's an energy drink or whatever, right? And then, same thing with problem aware. It's just like, it's not like taking melatonin and still can't sleep. That's solution aware, right? Versus just can't sleep. And then here you could just say like, it's like pose a question, solve with your product, basically, are the fastest way to go to sleep without taking melatonin. Stuff like that. So and then Victor, do you want to expand upon that a little bit?
So we're dumping a lot of you guys there, but I hope that let me see. Wait, Erica's will be worth highlighting. Okay, let me look. Peter, can you show me where that question is? I might have
yeah. So Andrew answered it live while we were going, but I just wanted to make sure that others had a chance to hear about it, because Erica asked a great question about like what is the minimum amount per day that you should be spending in order to get really good signals from this. So Andrew, I know you spoke to it there, but I just want to make sure others got a chance to hear about that.
So two things. So actually this is like revolutionary, and not a lot of people know about this yet. So you start doing this now, you're going to be way out of the curve. We do what's called an engagement campaign. So we get click-through rate signals. That's what this is right here. So instead of like normally we would validate every ad at like $100, or if you have enough of a budget, $200 like per ad. But instead what we do is we put it in a click-through rate campaign, and we run to see what gets the highest click-through rate. Which headline gets the highest click-through rate. And so that's what this photo was. This is a click-through rate campaign. So you can actually test, like, let's just say you want to test 40 headlines, right? Or 40 hooks. So instead of spending $4,000 to validate each one at at $100 each, you can spend about $300 on this click-through rate campaign. You could take the top quartile or like the top 10 ads and then actually validate those at $100 each. So it lets you cut out all the fat really quickly without, spending so much money. So instead of spending $4,000, now we're only spending $1,300, and we're using ads that have the best engagement signals to Facebook too. So that's going to give us a leg up instead of just going in for, for conversions. Yeah, you don't. And then a lot of times, like, you don't necessarily need to like test 10 at a time. That's just what we do. You could test 3. So you could run this campaign. You could test your top 3, right? Then test your next 3 in a conversion campaign. But yeah, we're basically we're using this click-through rate campaign to validate engagement signals. Then we're moving it to a conversion campaign once those engagement signals have been validated. And it's just a cheaper way to test, especially when you're on a budget. So, and we would not recommend running an ad at under $50 a day. Like I just wouldn't do that. It's just you have to have some spend behind Facebook now. You used to totally be able to hack it back in the 20 teens, and now it's just not. It's just not gonna. I said 50, so $50. I would not recommend running an ad under $50 a day. Can you run as many creative versions as you want, or is it more money to run multiple versions? Yeah, it's more money to run multiple versions. The hook test is the easiest thing to do. So we do that first, but yeah, it's going to be, I would say like it's $50, minimum of $50 per day per ad to validate. So, and then how much we spend today? Thanks. How long would you recommend running the CTR? Okay, so CTR ads, we only run to 500 impressions. So it's about $5. It could be anywhere from $5 to $10 per ad, depending on your CPM or your cost per 1,000 impressions. So we validate at 500 impressions, and you want them all to have the same impressions because your click-through rate is going to change based on which pockets of the audience you hit, and you hit different pockets for more impressions. So yeah, so we have a rule that kills it at 500. So. Keeps you being careful. Yeah, making claims to expose the best immune boosting mushroom. I wasn't sure if to stay. No, I mean, claims are fine. You got to be careful with health and wealth. We make so many claims on all kinds of stuff. Like it's totally fine. Just you got to be careful with weight loss. Usually with weight loss, we'd be like, instead of saying like Amy went from 160 pounds to 150 pounds, we would say like the fastest way to go from 185 to 160. You'd have to say something like that. Yeah, I think claims, I've spent probably like 40 or $50 million. I've never gotten in trouble for claims unless it's a medical thing. Yeah. Then we're pretty serious about claims. Yeah.
I can comment that too.
Yeah.
So one thing I like to do for one of the supplement brands that I worked on recently is I took a lot of the Facebook compliance database and I just copied and pasted. Actually, now they have you can find the right GPTs where one of them is called Web Reader. I just basically found all their knowledge base on their rules, and I copied the URL, put it into Web Reader, and I said, "Hey, be an expert in Facebook ads compliance. Look at all these updated rules, and I'm going to give you my three ad copies now. Tell me if they're compliant or not. If not, help me to make them compliant without losing the punch or the impact." So that's a really cool hack that is very 2024.
Yeah. And then website. Oh, ChatGPT, I think, right, Victor?
Yeah. And the GPT. Keep going, Andrew. I'll answer.
So and this is also important. Like, basically, like, I'll just highlight these things here. So this is kind of what we're talking about by filtering people out by words. So like, instead of watch this moisturizer transform your complexion, I've literally ran this test with a brand, and then this headline or this hook, I'm sorry, performed much better. But watch this. This is important too. Unique function is really important with your products. So like, so ceramide moisturizer is much more effective than moisturizer. Basically, like basically like we call it the core desire, which Victor was speaking to before. It's like this, it's just like core desire. And when you present like a moisturizer, of course, is going to keep your face healthy, clear, and resilient. So is a ceramide moisturizer. So is a whatever moisturizer, right? It all kind of does the same thing. But when you say ceramide moisturizer, you say like this, moisturizer that has like gold in it, right? Or something, right? It becomes a new way for that person to fulfill their core desire. So these modifiers are super important when like speaking about your product. Like it doesn't even have to be anything like we just make up like there's this we're working with this hair extension brand. They have hair, but they source it from temples in India. So we just started calling it temple hair. Like we're like, get to your temple hair here, like ethically sourced stuff like that. And so, but those modifiers are really important because like, would you rather have temple hair or just like regular hair from China, right? It's like, well, probably the temple hair, so yeah. And then here's some brands to follow. I think, yeah, y'all will get this after this. I would just check these out. All of these people are excellent at marketing. Honestly, like you could just take their ads and just rewrite them for your own brand. A lot of these guys. So yeah, so we talked about the conversion rate campaign. So what this looks like, then we go to the click-through rate, or I'm sorry, other way around. This is the click-through rate campaign. And then conversion rate campaign, we kind of showed you how just changing the headline or the hook, changing the cost per result dramatically. And then, yeah, here are just some winning hook examples that I pulled from other brands. Y'all can kind of like, this is a really good, I feel like tired of problem. Like that's a really good, that's a really easy ad to write. And it's pretty effective actually. And here's just like some formulas for you guys. So it's like stop using, and then like, this bad thing to get benefit, right? And it's like finally something replacement. I've been searching high and low, replacement for my beloved, bad habit. Like, I guess if you were going to say like for smoking, you could say then finally a smoking replacement, right? I've been searching high and low for replacement for my beloved, nicotine habit, and then Zen delivers something like that. Yeah, finally, just like here's something, finally the solution I've been looking for. This X result and Y time is really good. Like you guys were kind of asking about like claims, like make claims if you're not in health or wealth. So like if you're just like maybe reduces wrinkles isn't a good one because that would be health. But yeah, something that's like reduce crow's feet in 10 days.
Sometimes though you can.
Yeah.
Better will let you know, but sometimes you can
Yeah.
use testimonial with the claim in it. Like I can't believe that my wrinkles disappeared and like
Yeah.
but it has to be from somebody that it's a testimonial ad. So that
Yeah.
is kind of a loophole to explore.
Yeah, exactly. And then I think, is that Sorella? I think she was asking, like, these are good brands to follow. These are all clickable links. So this will just take you to the ad library. So like Obvi is a really big one. I'm sure you guys have heard about Obvi. Yeah, fight the mom pooch. Like that's way more effective than just like lose weight, Yeah, good for you, superfood cocoa drink. Yeah, exactly. It's like curve your chocolate, like specific thing with this good for you, like superfood, or maybe instead of superfood cocoa, because superfood is a little bit nebulous. You could say like, with this cocoa drink with beans sourced from like, the South Africa or something like that. Yeah, makala. Yeah, like say something else. Yeah, exactly.
And then I would throw it back at you too, Laura. I mean, you're asking us, is this good? I'd say, hey, test it.
Yeah,
right?
test it. Yeah, that's the biggest thing. Yeah.
I'm loving the like live workshop happening though.
Yeah.
That's
No,
great.
that's great.
Awesome.
Yeah. And then, okay, yeah, some of y'all were asking, where do we start? I mean, if you're like, expect to lose money on ads at first. Like, don't think you're going to get in and just like, make, $1 million, right? Like, that's just not going to happen. But like, figure out your messaging, because what you can do, you can also take these winning pieces of messaging, and we can take it and we can put it in our emails, we could put it on our site, we could do, right? So you're not just investing, it's not like figuring out how to run ads, it's like figuring out how to speak to, you know, how to brand and how to speak to your brand. Victor and I are anti-branding. There's no people who,
Yep.
you know, brand a lot of the time are just like, they're not using the direct response methodology. They're not using data. They have a very good intuition, which is impressive. But then at the end of the day, it's like, what if I could tell you that I know that saying, you know, using maca, lacuma, cocoa works better than superfood, right? But you have superfood all over your site. Well, you know, we can actually figure out like the best way to actually speak to your customers doing this. So, yeah, easy mode with ChatGPT. So I'm going to do this real quick, just because I know I literally told Peter, I don't think he believed me. I could talk to 3 hours. This is actually our truncated version. But I'm just going to show you real quick. Like I have all my prompts in here so you could use them. But basically like the easiest thing to do is like, let's go. Can somebody share their brand in the chat, and I'll do it with their brand.
Let's do this. You get a free you know, add a thing. True Brain.
True Brain.
Wow. Dang. I want to do it for all you guys now.
Is this, well, if I Google True Brain, will it come out? Is it this? Empower your best thinking.
Ooh.
Okay. So, okay, cool. So this is it. Okay. So basically like what I'll do, get started. Where's your sales page? Is this your sales page? Okay. So like what I will do is like, let's just say I'm not going to look for your competitor. I'm just going to use this example, but like, let's just say you found a winning ad, like, so let's see, your ChatGPT 4. So let's just say you found a winning ad. Like you could just go to your competitors to find these ads. We have a structure we like to use a lot of the time, but like, let's just say you're going to use this structure. And we don't always use this structure, but we usually start with this structure, and it's just problem, agitation, benefits, and then like we kind of tackle a couple more pain points, and then CTA. But so we could just say, please rewrite. And actually, I'm just going to use my prompt because this is easier. Like, please rewrite this ad. The new ad shows this framework, but yeah, so actually let me just, so you could just grab an ad and you take it to ChatGPT. You could say, please rewrite this ad with my brand information, but keeping the same framework period. And then, so this is going to be ad. So rewrite this ad. And then let me see. And then you'll add your brand information. And here's the thing, if you don't have a very robust page, go to your competitors and rewrite the ad with their information. So you can go to your competitor's site. You have a lot of information on your page, so I'm thinking this will be good, but literally just Control A, copy it. And then, yeah, so here's we put the ad in, rewrite this ad, and then we put your brand information here. Oh, it's maybe stuck on here. It looks like it might be having a hard time. Sometimes you have to like give it into different, yeah, it's having a hard time. But a lot of times, like, let's try this one more time. If it doesn't work, sometimes you have to, it's not as smart as us, even though it's pretty smart, but let me see.
Well, let me comment on that while you do. So the secret to working the GPT really well is train it. Like you really train it. It can take in a bunch of information. A lot of my prompts, you'll see, you know, that it's even one prompt for me right now, like the ICP that I told you before, where I really nail down on my target customers. It's a whole 1.5 pages for prompt number 1. And I go through and I was like, hey, be a master digital marketing analyst. I need you to go through blah, 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 blah. I'm going to feed you everything from my company. I'm going to feed you the web links from all the Reddits I want you to know. Reddits, Amazon reviews, And I go crazy with it. I pilot and then now the GPT is primed. It memorizes that it's ready. So now when I start doing any other prompts, like, hey, let's write some ad copy and stuff, that GPT is basically trained in my brain now. So that's kind of the secret. It's kind of weird, but the better you train it, the better you're gonna get things that come out. And also when you're training it, it's okay to not have it spit something out right away. Like I just my
Yeah.
first prompt, I tell it to just say, if you have all of this, just tell me you understand. And it says, I understand, period. And then and we continue from there.
Yeah, and I may have given it, yeah, please go ahead and share it. Okay, let's try it this way. Sometimes you have to play with it a little bit, but basically, please rewrite this ad to my target audience. Let's try this. This ad, but to my target audience, our goal to the target audience that you found.
And then again, as Andrew's doing that, GPT is a great tool. One thing that I urge everybody here to do, though, is you want to be somewhat of a subject matter expert in this, at least. Know copy, know the basics
Yeah,
of the frameworks, know why it works, because then you're not dependent on GPT spitting out junk because you know exactly how to ask that. And if it's not GPT, if you decide to bring on contractors, agencies, and stuff, you won't be in the dark. You'll know exactly what you want, and you can then work together with either the tool or the people to really unlock your business.
yeah, and usually we use this as like a good way to get a start. So like, do you see it just like spit out like all this stuff? Which some of this is pretty good. Like I like this design by UCLA trained neuroscientist. Like what kind of like feeling stuck in the loop of low productivity and creativity, trying other, caffeine or ginseng or whatever, and it's not working right. And then we can kind of go in and like we can go in and have it like start to iterate off of these pieces, right? So like unlock your brain's full potential. We'll start to like have it write more hooks. So let me see, proclamation that each hook should be posed as a question very dramatically. So it's being recorded. Yeah, yes, it is being recorded. Um, so yeah, and then so great. Now please write the hook 15 times. Is usually what we'll have it do, just to give us more ideas. So
And the key word here is ideas. So as Andrew's
yeah,
like, this is why you need to be an expert of your product and your people, because right there it says, are you exhausted from feeling mentally drained, unable to focus throughout the day? If you know that your people are primarily, university students that can't focus on preparing for exams, that's what you can throw in there. It's like, are you exhausted from feeling mentally drained and unable to prepare for your finals? Boom. Right. So now you're targeting college students preparing for their finals at whatever time that
yeah.
is, and they're going to use your product because you knew that. You can just make that adjustment.
Yeah, and then this will give you like, this is basically to give you ideas like still rely like these like modifiers of like drinking too much coffee, right? Like I mean, that's an obvious one, but you can kind of continue to push it to like get more and more things. And you can actually have it right in like this style, or like tired of memory slips at the work, or like getting older, like tired of memory slips, like things like that. You missing deadlines due to procrastination. Yeah, like that's interesting. Like that's an interesting angle. So, and then you could have it, a lot of times we'll go rank these on a scale from 1 to 10. I'm trying to see how much time we have. Okay, maybe I'll just talk y'all through this. Then we basically tell it like, hey, rank these on a scale from 1 to 10. Please write more that that you would consider a 10 out of 10 based on their ability to convert and get a high click-through rate. So you're going to get better pieces of copy out of that. So you're kind of creating this like loop where you can keep getting better stuff. And then are you able to share this? Yeah, you guys will get this. It's in my deck, so you'll be able to get this. And then you could have it. This is kind of fun. Please rewrite this exactly like David Ogilvy. So you could have it write like other people. And this is like, please rewrite these exactly like David Ogilvy. Remember, each hook you write should be 10 out of 10 based on whatever would be ranked. Let's just try this. Okay. But yeah, it'll write like David Ogilvy. And you could even give it people's writing styles and say like, I really like this, like, please write like this. So you know, some of these are kind of fun. Brain fog, the silent thief of your productive hours. Isn't it time you discovered true brain's secret weapon? Actually, these don't always convert well with CPG, but we're just using this example. And David Ogilvy's a great writer, but you can kind of see these. Memory failed again. Old tricks are no match for new challenges. Meet true brain. So there's a lot of like, you know, stuff. Or we kind of just wanted to show you the tool of like, you could literally, if you like if you like a brand's
Yes.
style of copy, literally pull like all of its ads, be like, hey, I want you to write my ads in this style of ad. Or you could pull it from their product page and start to have it write ads based on the information from your competitors' product pages. And do it with your, you know, most successful competitors, right? That's the kind of the hack there.
And you have a good point, Andrew. So that being
Yeah.
said, if you're in this, you know, webinar right now and you don't know what a swipe file is, you definitely should. Basically, find all the ads. If you see an ad, screenshot it. Just throw all of it into a folder, because then now you have your own library where you're like, these are the ones I want to go after. They spoke to me and I wanted to purchase it. Or something I like to do with my fiance is every time, you know, she's next to me scrolling on Instagram or whatever, she's like, oh, I'm gonna buy this. I'm like, wait, stop. What made you want to buy that? It's like, oh, well, that girl, like, she's beautiful. The whole outfit works. I'm like, okay. And so you just saw that. What about it? I have her do that. And I go back to Andrew. I was like, hey, we have a hook. So you can get that crazy about it if you have no life like myself. So
Yeah.
Andrew, back to
Yeah.
you.
Yeah. And sorry, I know we just gave you all a ton of stuff, but like, you know, where do you start? Like budget. Yeah. If you know, if it doesn't have to be a ton, do like run some click-through rate tests. Just get used to the platform. Click-through rate test for 40 headlines costs about $300. So if you have $300 this month, do that. Next month, run like 3 ads, right? It doesn't have to be crazy, but it's gonna get you used to like, oh, like this is like this kind of language is working. I had a higher click-through rate on this ad, or I actually got conversions on this ad speaking about this thing. That's all you want to do at first. If you're in the intermediate to like, you know, advanced ad buyer, or you're a larger company, like talk to me and Victor, you get like way more into depth than all of this and like actually go into scaling and stuff. But this is mostly just gonna be revolving around like how to start. So yeah, test benefit versus pain driven copy. So that's just like what we were saying up here. We had like examples up here. It's all just so like basically pain driven copy is going to be these problem solution hooks. So it's like yeah, taking too many nootropics to boost brain health. Try our 6-in-1 mushroom gummy to boost brain and gut health. So like that's like pain driven. It's like, you know, you're taking too much or spending too much money. Really probably spending too much money would have been better there. But you know, and then benefits just going to be like, the benefit is going to be like burn twice the calories you would on a treadmill with this one trick or with this exercise routine. So do that. And then creative, yeah, you could do Mid-Journey. Mid-Journey is pretty cool. Like you don't even have to know how to use the prompts. Like we actually just go to the explore page and like, what's like, I don't know, like what's something that, yeah, cause you don't have to like get a, I'll have to sign in. Let me see if it'll let me sign in. Cause you can actually search, like, can you guys give me, let me go back to your brands. Let me see what you guys are using. So Squirrel Granola. So you don't even have to know how to use Mid-Journey. You could just come here in here and like literally look up granola. Like here you go. You guys could just pull this stuff. This is all just AI generated things. You could put some text overlay on it and Canva and start running it. So this is kind of cool. But you just want to use something that's eye-catching. And then let's see. Yeah, creative. Don't worry about creative too much. The goal is just to like start to understand your messaging. So yeah, if you're worried about it, go to Mid-Journey. You probably already have product photos. You could try running with those. Just do something simple at first. Don't like get overwhelmed with the complexity of it, because it really does get very complex, but you can really start very simply and get a lot of learnings just doing that. We showed you that scaling math. We don't have time. We won't go over this, but there's a sheet in here for you if you ever want to see like, hey, how, like, what do I need? You know, like, what do I need to do to make money? What does my AOV need to be? Let's just say it's like $60, right? Your CPM is 15, that's average. 0.8 is average click-through rate, and conversion rate, like something like 5% would be. And this is landing page views to, or purchases divided by landing page views. So this is not your site conversion rate, this is your ad conversion rate. And it's a little different. But basically this sheet will just show you like, okay, if I have $15 CPM, I have an average click-through rate, and I have average conversion rate, then I'm gonna be at a 1.6, right? With a $60 AOV. Let me just put regular. So this is just a sheet so you guys can do the math to figure out, you know, what your AOV needs to be, what your click-through rate needs to be to actually make money. Just wanted to show you all that.
This is all incredible, guys. I appreciate you sharing all the templates and stuff. This is incredible.
Oh, sweet. Yeah, that's what we're just hoping to add as much value as we can. So yeah.
It's fun.
We can get into this. I think we're almost done. I guess you guys can read. Okay, so when we set up, let me just go over this real quick, and then we can answer some questions. Simple scaling and testing setup. So we run, this is where I say one ad at $50 a day. So we run one ad set with 2 ads in it. And so it looks like this. So these ad sets all have different ads in it. And then each ad set is going to have 2 ads. It's going to be the same ad copied. And the reason for that is because they're going to hit different pockets of the audience. So you want to give it more of a chance to figure itself out. So it's called pocket theory, but basically every time you run an ad, your ad is going to hit a different pocket of the core audience that Facebook believes will convert. And so it's kind of like we can talk about this more, but like basically confirm in your click-through rate test, push your highest click ads into a conversion campaign, and then you're going to set them up 2 ads per ad set. It's the same ad, it's just duplicated. So and then there's tons of other ways to set ads up, but this is how the reason we do it is because it's like ChatGPT. Like if I tell ChatGPT to like write me an ad, it's not going to do a very good job. But if I'm like, write me an ad, here's my competitor's language, here's my language, I want you to create like some kind of mix of this and like to create a better ad, right? It's going to do a way better job. And that's because we've given it good inputs. So the reason we test these ads this way is because we want to find out that they can stand on their own. We know if they can stand on their own and they don't interact with any other ads, that they're a good ad or a good input. And so we're looking to put as many good inputs together as we can. So this is just the first phase where like we're just finding the good inputs. Once we find a good ad, then we start to mix it in other ads. And this might get like too technical, but use DCAs, use ASC campaigns, start to combine like like start to use like bid caps, start to push different kinds of ads together, like things like that. But we test this way just to confirm that the ads can stand on their own and that they are a good input. So and then okay, so that's that. Yeah, and then offers, guys, you got to look at this worksheet. This is like this is like one of the ways we scale companies too, is through offers. Yeah, so works great. Yeah, so more at a discount, just give them more at a discount. So like 1 for 50, 2 for 75, right? It's literally that easy. That'll put your AOV up a lot, especially if you're a low AOV CPG company. Just make the price, like just do popcorn pricing. So like Starbucks, it's like $4.75 for a small, $5 for a medium, and like $5.75 for a large. Like that works even if you're charging hundreds of dollars. It's really weird, but it does. Gift with purchase, pretty self-explanatory. Sample pack with purchase, buy one, get one. Give a gift card with your purchase. That's like an incentive for them to come back, right? You can look through all this stuff. Percentage off, because you're incentivizing down. So you can incentivize any way you want. We always recommend you incentivize up. I never like really give a discount unless it's just in an ad. I don't ever put a discount on the site. Like when we have sales, we'll do threshold offers. So it might be something like get 10% off or spend, $200 and get 25% off plus a free gift, right? Well, now 50% of the people that are going to make a purchase are spending $200. So we recommend like incentivize. You can incentivize down a little bit, but only when it's like in comparison to like something else. So that's kind of like why we do that. And everybody does a % off, right? So it's like, it's just a race to the bottom if you do a % off. But yeah, we like a lot of like threshold offers are really good. So anything which is like this buy one get one, or like spend $75 to get this and this, you know, something like that. And then yeah, okay, so yeah, we could do questions. Why don't we do like questions, and then do we work with small budget bootstrap brands? So usually we don't work with super small budget or bootstrap, but this is honestly like a lot of work. Like this takes us a lot of time to do and write and create, because we actually create the content too. Like we create the videos, we like do the editing. But we do have like resources for small budget bootstrap brands, and we're happy to spend like some time with you. Like we do offer consultations for that, so we can get you pointed in the right direction. But yeah, usually we don't. I mean, and we'll also work with small budget or bootstrap brands if they have a like, well, I guess that wouldn't make sense, but I was going to say like we've worked with startups, but they were investing a significant amount of money. It wasn't just like, it wasn't, they were willing, because that's another thing with paid. Like you do need to get it started. It's like, you know, a snowball, right? It's like you really, once you've got to give it some momentum, and once it gets going, it's good. But usually a lot of the times, like what we'd recommend is, because you can kind of do the first step of the process yourself, just do that. And then if you want to consult with us, we'll consult with you to help give you better like headlines or tell you how to set up the ads and stuff like that. So, and then, yeah, does anyone else have any other questions? You can put them in the chat. I see, is there a couple guide? Right, a guide. Yeah, so is there a course or guide? Yeah, so we do consultations. I'm trying to think. Yeah, Victor, is there like a like kind of a guide or a course that you'd recommend?
Well, first off, I'd say this book's so good. It's so
Yeah, the
good.
book. Yeah.
It's all for copy though, right? And then you have another book called Copywriting Secrets, by Jim Edwards. And then you have another one of my favorite copywriters is named Joseph Sugarman. Really good. And the reason why you want to see this is you want to see how these like all our minds work. And it'll show you timeless things, because one of the things to notice is like everybody seems to be gravitating toward the next social media platform, the next technological advancement. The key to success, and one of my mentors said this, and actually I heard it again on an episode of Perpetual Traffic, which is a great podcast to listen to as well, with the guys over at Solutions 8 and Tier 11. They do ads as well. And it says, look at what hasn't changed over time. And for us, it's copywriting. It's very hard to find a good copywriter to understand how to do this. We just happen to throw, we happen to use the tools like Google and Facebook in order to push our copywriting. So those are things. I've taken a lot of courses. The challenge is everybody has their own way, and then it gets noisy and it's hard. So I'm trying to figure out a course that would be, I mean, I
Yeah.
started my journey with Smart Marketer. Really
I just
but
want to, sorry, I just want to interrupt you real quick, because this is so like Victor, like get like mentored by someone, like
yes.
because I've been mentoring Victor, and like he jokes, it's like I've literally built my own business partner. Like you could take a course, you could do all that, and
Yeah.
like that's fine, but like honestly, like all the courses are like crap. Like nobody's gonna tell you like any of the like paid media secrets. The people who know them are the people who are running ads for like Walmart, right? And then like people who have worked at like big agencies, stuff like that. So I would recommend just spending time with someone, because honestly, you're going to learn so much more. You get to cut the crap. Get in some groups. Startup CPG is amazing. Like get in some groups, get in some paid media groups. I wouldn't say like, if anything, I would pay for like one-on-one time with people, because it's just gonna cost as much as it's gonna cost less than a course, and you're gonna get more out of it. The courses are thousands of dollars. Yeah.
And your brand's unique too, right? Like just because you have a product that's, similar to a competitor doesn't mean that your audience is going to be the same even, right? Like my big competitor before when I was at a supplement company was on it, right, for Alpha Brain. And it's like, but their supplements were going after younger guys. Ours was going after an older demographic, right? And so, and Andrew's right, because my background's primarily in direct response, CRO, right? So now it's like bringing it to that level. It just kind of fit well. So I would say, yeah, that's the best, because I had to unlearn a lot of things too, and that sucked.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and honestly, like all these courses are like crazy expensive, and the good ones are basically mentorships anyway. So I would just start with like trying to find people at big companies that might want to like talk you through some of this stuff.
Use the money on testing ads.
Yeah, and use the money on testing
Yeah.
ads. Yeah. Yeah.
And then we can just tell you, like, if you're on the right
Yeah.
track, that's it. Because you
Yeah.
need to know this, and you learn it, and you'll be all right. And then you could bring in people and outsource and all that stuff.
Yeah. Exactly.
Andrew, I have a question for you
Yeah.
guys. When you do work with earlier stage brands, let's say there's a brand it's well funded, or it's found that it's got a lot of opportunity on D2C, and it's got a lot of conviction that, hey, there's something to really unpack here, and so we actually are okay spending a good amount of money on ads. What is best case scenario for you guys as an agency coming into that situation? Is it someone who's never set up ads before for themselves, and you guys get to build it from the ground up? Or is it being handed an ads account that needs a lot of cleanup and needs testing, but maybe there's some data there? Like, what do you guys like to see from brands? And I'll cut to the chase too, because the way I'm thinking about it, for people who don't know, I actually work as the head of partnerships for Startup CPG, but I also lead sales for a coffee company. And we are starting to invest behind D2C, but we're certainly not large there yet. And so I'm listening to this thinking about, hey, what's the right thing for us to be thinking about? Do we need to be playing and learning and testing? And then at some point when we have the scale, hand the keys over to someone who can do it better than we can? Or should we be thinking about making that investment earlier?
Honestly, like D2C, yeah, for coffee, yeah, it's almost hard. Like, what's your, and I know, sorry, I'm sorry. We look a lot for AOV. Account that has data is always better than nothing, even if it's not super relevant. But we're all, sorry, my dogs are, hey, stop, guys. Let me lower my window. Like, barking. So yeah, any data is better than no data. And then really we're looking a lot at AOV, because we can make it work on that, and conversion rate, because we can make it work on the ad side. But it's more like on the business side, it's like, do you have offers? Are you willing to work on willingness from the founder? That's one of the biggest problems we run into, is like founders that are like, we need to go this way and that's it. And like, we need to brand this way. And like there's this brand I'm working on right now. Oh my gosh, sorry, like all my things are going off right now. There's this brand we were working on, and the founder was just like, we have to have it's a science first branding. It says, and it's like, that's great, but that's only this many people, right?
Yeah.
And so it's like, why don't we do that? But why don't we also do a couple of other things and figure out what test to figure out what resonates with the brand. So yeah, data's good. We look a lot at conversion rates and AOV, because you cannot scale out a $40 AOV.
Yeah.
It's the math just doesn't work. You can scale a little bit at a 60. You can really scale in that like 80 to 150 range. After 150, it gets a little bit harder, because then you have to start spending a lot of money to get the data that you need. It's just a harder sell, right? So but yeah, that's kind of what we're looking for. And then we look for founders that are like more malleable, because that's a really big deal. Because we're like, hey, if we think it's a good idea to test some different offers and some landing pages, we can present something to you, but we still need you to say yes. And those are the big movers, are those offers. The landing pages, like these guys were spending $500K a month just on their product page. They redid their landing page. Now they're spending $1.2 million a month on this landing page. So and they put an offer on it, so it's like, this is the stuff that's going to let you double your spend, double your returns. Yeah.
And then I'm going to answer, Jennifer, you asked, what's the best way to find a mentor? And I'm going to answer that here because it's a little bit longer. It really there's no one correct way, right? Like I found mentors in working on projects together. I found mentors in events kind of like this. I found mentors um, in coffee shops, right? So it's really, at the end of the day, the easiest way is like see people that are where you want to be, and then start talking to them and seeing how you can connect with them, and not just what they say, but what they produce. Because I'm a big believer in that. It's like you could tell what kind of tree, a certain tree is by the fruit it bears, right? Good tree can't bear
Yeah.
bad fruit, bad tree can't bear good fruit. So I was like, all right, well, let's see, is this person producing all of that? And also, you don't want to find an all-in-one mentor. I have mentors that have different things I want to learn from. So the biggest thing first is, what are your questions you're trying to get answered? Then take those questions out into the world and see where you can find even a
Yeah.
diverse set of answers. And as you find that, again, it's kind of like testing, right?
Yeah.
You're like, oh, this person's there for me, and they actually have great advice and wisdom, and I'm gonna follow them. And
Yeah.
my biggest tip is never ask somebody to be your mentor, though. That's just weird. It makes people feel weird. It's like, will you be my mentor? It's like, it's just more, hey, can we just have conversations and I'll pay for your
Yeah.
coffee, or let me pay for your lunch, and or I'll fly to you. Those things are keep it natural. The label for some reason makes people feel weird.
And then I'm a little bit more robotic than Victor. I was straight up like, I'm like for lack of a better term, like quid pro quo person. I'll be like, hey, I'm gonna pay you $100. I want to talk to you for an hour. Like, let me let's like let's do this. And yeah, Jennifer, no, Victor's very right. I think the best way, because is that, and if you want like specific information, go on LinkedIn and find like the ad buyer for somebody at Walmart, or like some big company, or somebody you like just somebody's ads you like, my obvi. If you like their ads, like go find their ad buyer. They're on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
Yeah, and just be like, hey, like I'm getting into this. I want to know what you're doing. Can I pay you for your time? If you do that like 5 times,
Yeah.
somebody's gonna answer. So
And a ton of those
Also
people are
ask us.
in the Slack as well too. So
yeah,
like
Okay.
honestly, it's a great place. Like if you guys are looking for other folks that are just, hey, like, can we get 4 people together into a share group every month?
Mhm.
yeah,
Like you can find those people within Startup CPG Slack for sure.
yeah, and that's really good. Y'all could all spend money based on different hypotheses, right? And just be like, I'm going to spend $300 doing this. I'm going to spend $300. I'm going to do right, and then you can learn in a cohort too. Like that's going to be way faster. And then of course, like we'd also recommend like getting like paying someone for advice as well, just because like look, if you like, let's just say you pay me $200 to work for an hour. Well, I've been doing this for 6 years, and I'm gonna like I can literally tell you like the 3 things you need to do to like start to set up your ads right, and like um, get results to actually start getting conversions, or what you need to do with your website. Like I can look at your data and I will know, right? And so that's kind of the bonus of like doing something like that. But yeah, and then group sessions are good too. Yeah, you could split it with a friend, but yeah, we definitely recommend that. And then I know we have to go in a minute, but yeah, just real quick, Victor and I service packages. So we have a special service package for CPG, but you got to email us to find out. But these are our regular packages. So usually working on pretty big brands. So yeah, a lot of times we're working with brands where they're spending like $7,500 to $10,000 a month with us. And we're doing Google, we're doing Facebook, we're making their we're their marketing team, we're their growth marketing team. Now, like we have some a la carte stuff, so Google, TikTok, Pinterest. We have partners for email, SMS, and UGC videos. And then yeah, if you want to find out our custom package, we need to know more about your business and where you are. But yeah, email either me, Andrew at AdCrunchDigital.com, or Victor at AdCrunchDigital.com. And I'll put this in the chat. But yeah, and then we are always open to consulting. So you can do a group consult. That's gonna like lower your price a lot, right? If 3 of you are splitting that, you all get to learn, and that's gonna lower your price a lot. Or we could do one-on-one sessions. Just for most of y'all, if you're just starting out, that's what we would recommend. But yeah, and then if you're a little past just starting out, you're in the like, I'd say like 500K revenue a year plus range, like send us an email and we'll come up with like, we have a special CPG like offer for you through Startup CPG. So
And one last tip, since we looked at the a la carte stuff for you guys,
Yeah.
don't want to do too much at once, especially in your stage. And this is,
Yeah.
my experience. I've scaled in the last company, even like a company to 9 profitable channels, but it wasn't all at once. Don't shotgun approach just because people say, "Oh, I gotta be on TikTok, I gotta be on YouTube." I
Yeah.
got unlock one, take the learnings and the winnings, and then go to another channel, and then boom. And for the most part, Facebook is what we like to call a 1,000-pound gorilla. So if you can get
Yeah.
some things that win there and proven out there, then going on to YouTube and all the other stuff is fine. But prove one out, you invest, you learn a lot, your algorithm also learns. And then I don't know if we have enough time for the last question, but Andrew, Monica asked about the algorithm in there.
You guys are good to hang as long as I'm good to hang as long as you guys want to answer questions. So
Yeah. Who said about who asked the question? Sorry,
Yeah,
maybe
so
I
does
just
the
don't see it.
algorithm penalize your performance if you decide to pause your ad campaigns? You want to tackle first?
Oh, yeah. So if you pause your ad campaigns, basically like, um, yeah, you're basically just like, if you pause it, if you just turn it off and then on, it's fine. But if you pause it for like, it's not really like a penalization. It's like, think of like every time you run an ad campaign, we're talking about this pocket, like pocket theory, this pocket of audience. Like every time you pause an ad campaign, you're like, that ad campaign goes back and then restart it. That ad goes back into a different pocket. So it's not really penalizing you. It's just trying to refigure out like what's going on because you've effectively just put it in a different environment. So yeah, it's not gonna, yeah, but yeah, I wouldn't recommend pausing anything. If you're having problems, I would drop your budget. And then if you're still having problems, you can pause it. I would only pause things that are not performing. So,
Yeah. And you
and
drop
then,
it around like, 20 or 30% at a time.
yeah, if it's like out of control, you could do like a 50% cut. But usually if I'm like, this is over CPA, I'm just gonna cut it back about 30%.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, and then, okay. And then have you had any luck with frozen food companies? What are you selling? I could tell you if can you put like Sasha, can you put your company or what you're working on in the chat?
I think she may have dropped actually.
Oh, okay. Anyways,
Yeah.
for everyone else, yeah, I've had like, I mean, you could look at like Omaha Steaks. I sold like some Wagyu beef for somebody once. It was like frozen. That worked okay. It wasn't, yeah, like it worked. I don't know, but that AOV, that's like a $200 AOV, right? So
Oh, Erica is frozen foods as well. That's good. Erica, what are you selling?
okay. Yeah, what are you selling? Plant-based seafood. Okay, what's your like average order? But like, because his shipping cost was like $50, but it was okay because he was selling like, $200
Oh, it's
worth of
called
steak.
Mind Blown. Do you want
Oh,
to pull it up? Or actually, you can.
yeah.
Ooh, right now we're using third party. I'll pull it up. You go ahead. Okay, Mind Blown plant. No, or plantbasedseafoodco.com. The URL's in the.
Oh,
Yeah.
where is?
Buy online. Okay.
Okay. So this is actually
Yeah.
like a high. Yeah, I think this would be fine. Um, um, some of this stuff would be hard. Like usually when because we run ads for these guys, Pluck, and it's actually working like pretty well. Their AOV's around like $50, and we're at like about a 1.5x. With these guys, we're redoing their page to where you're like what we were saying in the offer where like you can get more. So we're changing their price to make it a little more expensive, but you're also going to get like, you could either pay $30 for one or get 4 for 60, right? And that kind of gets us to where we need to be. So I'd recommend if you sell online to like make sure to figure out how to get your AOV over $60 because you can actually start to scale some at $60 with really good ads. And then other than that, like I would practice, yeah, figure out like maybe make like a tuna sample pack or kind of a sample pack of your stuff. That way people have to buy more at once. Like I think we may start working with these guys, but they had like
And
where is
yeah,
it?
even
There you
Puck
go.
has one too. And with that test,
Yeah,
it's also as you do some of those price tests as well with Plug, the owner is really awesome. Like he wants to add value to his people a lot. So
yeah,
that's where Andrew was talking about like having that open-mindedness because he's like, yeah, we're gonna do this price test, but he's making the bags filled up more with his seasoning too. So things like that. And you can say that
yeah.
whenever you share with your or in your ads or whatever that might be.
Yeah, and I think for frozen food, like Omaha Steaks, I used to run ads for them like a long time ago. And like they literally, like I would say this is like if you're gonna do online frozen, like do you see these AOVs? It's like 139, 159, 160. Like you kind of need to be a little, you don't have to be that high, but like you need to make these like packages where you're not just selling like, where you're not just selling, maybe you do a sample, right? And then you sell them the package or something like that. Um, but that's kind of like any recommendation on AOB. Yeah, so this offer sheet, where is this? Where's the offer sheet? I'd say this offer sheet is like the best thing you can work through. So like just come in and like, oh, also a build your own bundle. So
And as you do that, one thing that I do want to say is like AOV, yeah, you can think about it on the front end as well. As you get more sophisticated, and this usually happens more with people that have capital backing, is you can look at subscriptions, auto ship, lifetime value of the customer too. It's a little bit more advanced math, but some of those brands are able to say, I'll take a loss on the first order,
yeah,
but no, I'm gonna make it back on like the fourth order because people generally stay 4 rounds, right? So you can start thinking about AOV that way as well. But it's just I just want to throw that out there. And Andrew, you can comment on that too, if you have thoughts.
yeah, Jennifer, like what you said, bundle. Okay, so and I'm actually sorry, I keep saying bundles, but like this is so if you're going to sell a bundle, sorry, this is a little bit more complicated than I wanted to get into, but like bundles like don't, I know I just said bundles work and they do, but they don't actually work very well if it's not part of a greater system. So like for skincare, we don't see success be like here's an AM routine, right? Here's your PM routine. But like we see success with like try this anti-wrinkle routine. So like with that relating to food, like it could be, I don't know, it could be like your I don't know, like 700 calorie, a meal, thing or whatever pack that you try for a week, right? It's like it has to be like a system to get people to buy bundles. Now, on the other side of that, you can do, which this is like a threshold offer or a customizable bundle. This is really what I would recommend for your frozen food. So I would just say like buy, like it's this. It's like basically if you select like 4 of their products, you're going to get a 30% discount. I would do something like that. Right. Because now instead of $94, it's like 75. So I would, I would definitely like, I would kind of start off with these, like, I can put this page in here too. You don't have to build out something like this. It could be something super simple, like you just put it on at the banner of your site and below your add to cart, where it's like, spend $75 and get like get like this thing free, or like, pick 3 items and get something else free. Like all of that's like let me see, where's your website? Let me go to the other one. Like, yeah, Jennifer oh wait, no, Jennifer, did you not, who's this other person? Oh, supplement mushroom teas. Here we go. So like for this plant-based seafood company, um, like you could do like a crab, like you could say like you know, pick 3 and get 30% off, right? Like pick 3, or buy, 10 tunas, any flavor, get like 30% off. So that's gonna be where you're gonna see the most sales. versus bundling because if you bundle a bunch of stuff together that people don't want, then they're not going to buy it. But if you like kind of let them pick, like build your own bundle, that's going to be and then give them a discount for like spending so much or buying so many items. That's going to be a lot more effective. Because it's like you're letting them actually get what they want instead of saying like, I want you to buy this, this, and this. So, and that's kind of what we mean by bundles. And then what else? AOV for earlier stage brand, 1 to 3 SKUs. Yeah, I think just buying more of what you already have. So if I go on this page, see how it just says like add to cart 1, instead of doing something like that. I really like their example, even though this is kind of ridiculous product, but see how they just have like $49 for 1 bottle, $88 for 2 bottles, or $4 for $147. So it's basically get 3, buy 1 free. Like this is really effective when you're selling, just like 1 or 2 products, just like give them more at a discount. So you could say like $75 for 1, $100 for 2, and $125 for 4, right? Something like that would work really well too. And then you just kind of just want to make them feel stupid for not buying the thing that you want them to buy. So, and then, oh yeah, awesome. Samples of mushrooms. Yeah. Let me see. So yeah, Jennifer asks, does that mean I should create more bundles? Yeah, so that's right. Yeah, so create more, like, instead of creating more bundles, Jennifer, it's more just like letting people pick out what they want, either give them an AOV threshold or like some kind of item threshold, or do something like this where it's like get more for less. And then yeah, Jennifer, you do all natural, good Shopify plugins. So yeah, so we're not actually developers. I don't actually know how these people are making these bundles, but there are definitely plugins. And I would recommend, you could probably find someone on Upwork to do something like that, to do something like this pretty inexpensively.
Yeah.
Yeah, we usually work with developers. So yes, supplements and mushrooms. I think I do have one. Let me find it.
Are you thinking Rise?
Maybe.
RYZ. I think I saw their ads a lot. And side note for you guys, if you're looking for ads that are running well on your competitor, you should go to Facebook Ads Library. If you know this already, awesome. If you don't, here it is. Right, and when you go there, type in your competitors. And generally, if you see an account that has a bunch of ads, we're talking like, I don't know, 40, 50, like hundreds, then you can know that they are serious about testing and scaling their Facebook. And then the ads that have been on for a long time, I don't know, 4 to 6 months or more, then you can say, oh, those are the winners that they are making money from. So they keep that going. You can assume that those are ads that are winning, and then you can reference. One caveat I do want to throw out there is that use competition as a reference so that you can see things are working, but do not put all your eggs in one basket and just copy what's there.
Yeah.
Because number one, again, their audience could be completely different. Number two, they probably already spent a bunch of money on their brand, and now it's a knife fight for you to go, against somebody with their brand. And if they have other channels that are working on top of that, it's just not winning. You can use that as probably 1/4 of your inspiration. The second thing will be, your own understanding, which is why I tell you to like learn a lot. That's why we keep pushing this on you. And third, even getting an expert to come in and then like look at what you're building. And then so now you're having all of these different ways to come up with original content. Take big swings, see what really work, and before you know it, you might have your own original winning ad that other competitors would be like, holy crap, they're leading the pack on this.
Yeah, and then, but yeah, ads library, that's right.
Yes.
And then somebody asked me about Google. Yeah, Google is like a totally different conversation. Google is like super technical, like building out a feed, and like, yeah, that's like words matter a lot less on Google. It's more of just like your technical like prowess basically. But yeah, and I'm trying to find this mushroom one. I don't know. I might have to send it to you later. But yeah, if any of you guys, if I didn't have any, yeah, does anyone have any other questions or anything?
We're gonna keep you here all day.
That's great. Yeah, that's great.
Just
And
Um,
I'll be honest, I've done a
everyone
bunch
back.
of these, and we still have like a fairly full audience right now. So thank you guys for hanging out.
woo,
No, the audience is
yeah.
great. I appreciate the audience. I thank you guys for being here, letting Andrew and I share, what we're passionate about with you, and looking at some of the businesses that we're putting in the chat. It's freaking awesome. So I'm humbled to be here and be able to like speak into some of these brands. So
Um,
Oh,
I'll let you keep going, Andrew. Just to answer a couple of questions,
yeah.
just to remind everyone, this is going to be on our Startup CPG YouTube within a few days. And if you've registered, which is the only way you got into this room, you will also be getting an email with the link to the deck. So you guys will get this. And I think, Andrew, all the links to the resources and stuff that you put together are in that deck that you put together. So a bunch of the templates and stuff, which is amazing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they're all the templates are in there. And then some of it, I gave you guys like a simplified template, and then I have my work in progress template too, just so you can see what I'm working on as well.
Awesome.
And then these guys, y'all were asking about packaging. Yeah, these guys are really good. Like, so yeah, so this is basically just like get more, right? I think it's like one of them's for $40, and then, but they're doing this. This is actually this brand is pretty decent. They have a decent amount of ads running. So I think someone was asking about mushrooms. What did they say?
yeah, it looks like
Yeah.
this is test two, by the way, Andrew. They're doing CRO. I mean,
Oh yeah, V2.
V2.
Yeah. And then they have like upsells, in the cart. And then let me see. Yeah, see something else comes up. So it's like get another one. So stuff like this is really good when you're trying to increase your AOV. It's just like get more. So it's like add one more bag for $25. This is like, I don't know what this is. This is like 40% off or something. So add to order. But yeah, those guys are a pretty good example of like get more, right? They'll have pop-up. See, now you're at 65 instead of, or 57, 65 instead of $40. So, but awesome. Where you see to send me ad saves. It looks like Facebook ad list publication by month. It should just, yeah. So Facebook ads library, you can look up anyone in here. Oh, that's ads manager. Ads.
They repeat. Well, not necessarily that they repeat, because the winners will be kept on longer. And then you'll see that all the other ads are iterations or things that they are testing. And
Yeah.
if it wins, they just keep it on. Oh,
Yeah.
hey Andrew, I think Laura's asking we can use Aura Cacao. Yeah. I think it's A and then
ORACACA. Whoops.
yeah. There it is.
Yeah. So if you want to see their ads,
They're not running. Oh yeah, they are.
no, they're actually testing a lot of stuff. If you want to see
Yep.
their best performing ads, I would go to the bottom and see, like this one started on November 6th,
Yep.
right? So that one's gonna be like working really well.
Those are their winners. That's what I was talking
Yeah.
about.
Yeah. So you could go to exactly. So like they did like a us versus them. Like that's a pretty good.
Yep.
Well, let me see. Yeah, it's like a us versus them kind of thing.
Yeah, that's us.
But yeah, you can.
So that's turned off. Those are losers.
Yeah, so you could see like all this stuff is going to be things that they've been getting a lot of conversions on for quite a while. So,
Yep. And the newer ones are what they're testing.
yeah. Although they don't really have any new ones, so these must all be pretty good. Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
of course.
Yes.
Awesome. Well, yeah, if nobody has any other questions, I think Victor and I will go. But yeah, feel free to email. I'll drop my email, Victor and I's email in the chat again.
And then also you can find us on LinkedIn if you want.
Yeah.
Um, let me drop that into the chat too. And then on the mentor side too, like if there are people in my network that you guys want to connect with somehow, just make it easy for me to connect you guys. Usually if there's like that's the other tip, by the way, if you make it easy for people to say yes, you tend to get yeses faster. Like you have about 5 seconds for somebody to make a decision on a message or an email, whether or not they're going to respond to you. If it takes them longer than 5 seconds to respond, they're going to put you away, and then that email will be lost forever, and then they're going to feel too ashamed after 2 weeks to email you back, and then you'll have to follow up with them because it's lost. Is like that's just the nature of that. That's a tip I've learned with all the mentorship that I've gotten, FYI.
Yeah.
Awesome.
All right.
All right. Well, thank you guys very much. We kept you here an extra 30 minutes and got every ounce of benefit we could from it. So I appreciate you guys. And thanks everyone who hung out for a little extra time with everyone.
Yeah.
Cool.
Thanks.
Awesome. All right. Thanks, guys.
Bye.
Yeah.
Peter.